You're not tired. You're living a life in a system that was never built for you. You keep forcing a career blueprint that doesn't fit, wondering why everything physically hurts. And every time you push through, you burn another piece of yourself to keep the lights on. This isn't fatigue, it's self-erasure disguised as success. You've been worshiping the grind while your body files a quiet rebellion. And now, the rebellion's winning. You wake up tired. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that sits in your bones, that lives in your stomach, that hums beneath the smile you force every morning. You tell yourself it's just a season, that the next vacation will help, that one more reorg, one more launch, one more promotion will finally make it all make sense. But it never does. You check the boxes, you hit the numbers, you over-deliver because you always have. And yet, at 3 a.m., you're staring at the ceiling, wondering how something that looked so right turned out so hollow. You're not tired. You're depleted from performing a life that was never built for you. The world sold you a formula. Work harder. Be disciplined. Stay consistent. Push through. That formula built your resume, but it's been quietly destroying your nervous system. They told you ambition was power. They never told you how much of yourself you'd have to amputate to keep it. You've been mistaking exhaustion for excellence. You've been confusing control with safety. You've been chasing validation in a system that feeds on your over-functioning. And here's the truth nobody has the guts to tell you. You are not lazy. You are miswired to the wrong expectations. You are a Ferrari trying to plow a field. You've been living by someone else's design. Look around the conference table. You see other women smiling, nodding, strategizing. Half of them are dying inside too. Everyone pretending the grind still works. But you know it doesn't. Your body knows. That dull ache in your chest when you open your laptop. That flash of rage when your calendar pings another meeting. That's not attitude. That's your circuitry short-circuiting. You've been taught that showing up means self-betrayal. That's the only way to lead is to suppress the part of you that actually knows the truth. You've learned to override every signal. The gut that says no. The voice that whispers enough. The instinct that says, this isn't me. You override. You comply. You keep performing. And call it professionalism. Meanwhile, your system keeps screaming. Headaches, insomnia, caffeine dependency, numb scrolling at midnight because silence feels dangerous. This is not weakness. It's what happens when your energy blueprint doesn't match the life you're forcing yourself to live. But no one ever told you that you had a blueprint. That's why you call it burnout. It feels like failure. It's not. It's misalignment. They told you success was supposed to hurt a little, that discomfort was the price of greatness. But there's a difference between growth and corrosion. One expands you, the other eats you alive. You learn to ignore the corrosion because the world rewards the burn. The longer you stay in the fire, the more praise you get, until there's nothing left but ash and a LinkedIn headline. And when you finally can't fake it anymore, You assume the problem is you, that you're not disciplined enough, not resilient enough, not grateful enough. So you double down. You buy another planner. You read another book about morning routines. You create new to-do lists on top of old ones because motion feels safer than honesty. But deep down, you already know. This isn't about time management. This is about energy mismanagement. Your energy. The part of you that knows what lights you up has been hijacked by what keeps everyone else comfortable. You were never meant to live by someone else's manual. You were meant to operate by your own wiring, your own rhythm, your own design. That's where your own personal blueprint, your human design comes in. Not as a horoscope, not as a personality quiz, but as a mirror that finally shows you how your energy actually works. Before we go there, stay here for one more minute. Feel the weight of what's real. The mornings you dread, the resentment you swallow, the way success tastes like metal in your mouth. That's the cost of living out of sync with yourself. And if you keep calling it the grind, it'll keep grinding you down. Stop pretending exhaustion is noble. Stop confusing burnout with achievement. Stop letting a broken system convince you that your depletion is proof of your value. You're not the problem. You're the proof that the formula never worked. You don't need more motivation. You need navigation, because you've been leading by rules that were never written for you. Your energetic blueprint gives you the map, a guide to how your system naturally creates, decides, and leads. It's the original code underneath all the conditioning. The system that explains why every productivity hack and leadership book eventually makes you feel like a fraud. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. It's how your energy interacts with the world and what happens when you keep fighting it. You've spent decades forcing your system to act like someone else's. Generators pretending to be manifestors, projectors pretending to be generators, reflectors trying to keep up with people who never stop. Manifesting generators caught between overcommitting and overcorrecting. Each one of those types has a rhythm, a way of moving through life that's sustainable, until someone tells you it's wrong. You've spent decades forcing your system to run on someone else's settings. The woman who's built to respond and refine has been told to always initiate. The one meant to guide and see the big picture has been taught her worth comes from how many hours she grinds. The natural starter, the visionary, learned to shrink her ideas to make everyone else feel comfortable. The empath, the mirror, the one who feels everything, learned to rush decisions she was never meant to make in a day. And the multi-passionate creator, the woman built to move fast and follow what lights her up, was told to pick one thing and stay in her lane. Each of us has a rhythm, a natural way of leading, creating, and resting that's completely sustainable until someone tells us it's wrong. So we override it. We push instead of wait. We prove instead of trust. We perform instead of lead. And we call it ambition. We call it drive. We call it discipline. But what it really is burnout wearing lipstick. There's a reason it feels like something inside of you is constantly fighting to slow down, to breathe, to be. It's not weakness. It's your energy trying to get your attention. See the pattern yet? You were trained out of your own wiring. And now your system is shorting out under the weight of a life it was never meant to carry. This is why you crash. This is why nothing feels enough. Because you were never designed to play every role. You were designed to master your own. There's an actual framework that explains all of this. The different energetic rhythms, how each of us is wired to work, lead, and recover. It's called human design, or what I like to call your personal blueprint. Once you learn yours, you stop forcing. You start flowing. Because finally, you understand how your energy is built to succeed. Human design doesn't hand you permission slips. It hands you consequences. It says, here's what happens when you stop lying about who you are. Once you understand your type, you start seeing the traps. That the way you say yes has been a survival strategy. That your perfectionism is just fear dressed up as control. That your exhaustion is proof that your system's been redlining for years. The moment you see it, you can't unsee it. You start catching yourself mid-pattern. The fake yes, the forced motivation, the way you nod in meetings while your chest tightens. That's the first step back to power. Not a mantra, not a vision board. Awareness. Because awareness burns through the lie faster than any affirmation ever will. Here's the truth. You're not here to become a new version of yourself. You're here to remember the version that never needed fixing. Human design just gives you the coordinates to find her. Start small. Look at your type, then your strategy, then your authority. That's it. 3 pieces of data that can change the way you make every decision. Your type tells you how your energy works. Your strategy tells you how to move through the world without resistance. Your authority tells you how to make decisions without guilt. It's not mystical, it's practical. And once you see it, you'll understand why everything you've been taught about hustle and balance has never worked. When you operate from your design, your energy stops leaking. The noise quiets, you stop explaining your worth and start embodying it. That's when rest actually feels like rest. That's when work starts producing results that don't cost your sanity. That's when clarity replaces confusion. So which one are you? Which role have you been forcing yourself to play? How much longer are you going to pretend this version of success is worth your burnout? You can keep worshiping the grind, or you can learn how your system was built to run and finally stop fighting yourself. That's the real alignment. Not chasing peace, not chasing purpose, but finally remembering the architecture you came with. This is your map, your manual, your way out of the exhaustion loop. Now the only question left is, what are you going to do with the truth? Because once you know your design, you don't get to hide behind confusion anymore. You either live it or you keep burning yourself out, pretending you don't know better. The choice is yours. Subscribe before you talk yourself back into the grind. You already know the truth. Now stay close enough to remember it. I'll see you Monday. Remember, you were never lazy. You were just out of alignment. You were never too much, and you were never not enough. You are, and have always been, forever enough.